Say Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google.
Back to School and Grandma Appreciation Day. It is happening live at Willis Tucker Community Park on Saturday, September 4th, 2021. This year, GTP will bring a lot of joy to our kids because we will be giving out backpacks, school supplies, laptops, tablets, free toys, and more.
We are going to give you one of the numbers and we are going to be holding the other number.
There will be an interesting competition and kids stand a chance to win a brand new laptop, tablet, gift cards. In the process of raising our kids, our moms play a crucial role in helping us to raise our kids according to our tradition and culture, so they are worth celebrating. Come to Willis Tucker Community Park and have a lot of fun. There will be musical chair, sack race, face painting, and more. We also have free food, barbecue, shawarma, pizza, ice cream, goodie bags, and more.
Good job, you tried, okay? Good job, thank you. You did well, right?
Back to School and Grandma Appreciation Day at Willis Tucker Community Park on Saturday, September 4th, 2021. Come and have fun. Don't miss it.
But once we know you have an expert in something, we knock onto you. And to be honest, a lot of people were really, really willing to contribute. We really appreciate and thank them for all the help. We have Elizabeth Gomez, the owner, proprietress of Fossil Clothing in Sweden, who's also a big supporter or who's also contributed greatly into this particular document Dr. just shared with you. So we thank her as well. There are several different experts who may not be here today for one reason or the other. And again, some of them are not related to CA. They have different jobs to do, so they cannot be here, but they would have loved to be here to also engage you on the parts that they've worked on. But for one reason or the other, they cannot be here. So we thank everybody. And we believe that everybody here will add some value to this document in one way or the other, either by your questions or by the comments you're going to make that we will incorporate into this document going forward. So thank you very much to each and every one of you. I mean, if I had a better word than thank you, I will use it. From the bottom of our heart, we appreciate it. And this is going to go a long way. This is the Gambia we want to build, that it's not only two people that will come up with things or documents or policy documents, but the whole Gambia, every citizen should be able to see themselves or should be able to add value, whether you align or not, whether you belong or not. Once it is a value that can change a life or two, I think you should be very, very proud and willing to bring it forward and add it so that somebody can make use of whatever you're adding or the value you're putting forward. So we're going to move right on. I think time is not on our side to the question and answer. We have the media here, we have the citizenry. It's not a media journalist event, it's all.
Some of us were written to from the CSO NGO sector. I'm sure, Gambians some people may see me on TV and say, is he a member of CA now? But as a development worker, I think we also have a role in the country when we are invited in such fora to attend, because some of the things you are talking here are going to impact on the lives and livelihoods of the rural people that we serve. And when I say we serve, we as NGOs and CSOs, we have a big role. We participate a lot in the development, or we contribute to the development of this country. And if a political party invites us, of course, we have to come and listen to what you have for the citizenry, to the people of the Gambia. And I think listening to what Doctor has just presented, I mean the 10 points agenda, I'm particularly interested in the agriculture sector. And I've been following Dr. I think some 1 month, 2 months back, I mean Dr. Sise. He was on a tour of Europe, specifically in Germany, and I've been following him through his Facebook page, visiting some industries, agro-industrial factories, and I was really impressed to see a presidential aspirant going around to look at some of those machinery that could probably help, or I will not say probably, will help a great deal in boosting the agricultural production of this country. And some of the labor-saving devices that he has also been looking at will also help to solve the drudgery affecting the main farmers, being women and youths in this country. So I think this may only be a summary of what you have. I can call this a manifesto, but I'm sure the details are there. You have some of our emails. If you can send us the detail or the details in our respective emails, it will be very important. Now, a question, Doctor and CA. You have some very lofty promises here. How would you go about mobilizing? Because without finance, it's difficult. This is just going to be a dream. Without finance, the human resources, the financial resources, how are you going to implement this lofty 10-point agenda? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Even though it's very broad and generalized, I would have expected questions that go on specific sectors, but I also have given a broad answer. When it comes to the human resources, I think Gambia is blessed with with an expansive human resource. What we want to do is to ensure we make Gambia attractive to attract diaspora expertise. We have a lot of Gambians who are living in the diaspora in different fields, who are experts in their various fields. In fact, helping build other countries. Many years of experience, experts in their various sectors. We want to find a way to attract them to come back home and help in national development. Now, when it comes to the finances, like I said, it's not sustainable to borrow more money to pay for finance more debts. We are going to focus on money creation using different innovative models. One is investment, and two is savings. Like I said, today we need to look at within the Gambia today, especially in the public service, where can we save money from? Like I said earlier on, duty waivers alone or tax waivers alone are costing us $1.2 billion. Vehicle maintenance policy, if implemented, can give us over $300 million. We can have guidelines that can ensure that today we save in the public sector, because today 80% of our budget goes to feed a large government of 47,000 employees. How do we ensure that we streamline the civil service so it is more responsive? And also we outsource certain auxiliary services, like courier services, like the messengers, the drivers, and security to the private sector, where we can save some money as well. Just our savings, electricity, the amount of money we are spending in government on electricity because there are no guidelines in how we use utilities in terms of air conditioners. There are no guidelines. Fuel. There should be a threshold for how much fuel should be allocated. Government vehicles. There is a fleet of government vehicles that are not necessary. How do we auction off the surplus? How do we do an audit of all government vehicles and auction off the surplus so that we can also make money from that, but also streamline government vehicle allocation? Government travel. There should be a freeze on non-essential travel, and we save money on that. Also, a freeze on non-essential hiring in the civil service. So the approach is to, in terms of broadly speaking, is savings, obviously, but also making, I also mentioned making the SOEs more responsive, but not also more financially vibrant. Today, NAWEC has been insolvent, for example, since 2011. The amount of money we used to subsidize NAWEC, the NAWEC is supposed to bring money. GAMTEL is overstaffed. 73% of those employed in the communication sector are employed by GAMTEL and GAMCEL. Only 12% by QCell, 9% by AfriCell, and then 6% by Comium. So how do we do to ensure these public enterprises are viable? What innovative, what structural reform do we have to do with the ports? The reason why Gambia was created, we all know it. The River Gambia. It is the reason, it is our reason of existence. When the colonialists came, they're not interested in anything but the River Gambia. How far it could be explored for trading purposes. We're not using even 5% of the potential of the River Gambia for river transportation purposes. All these things can bring money for us. So there is enough opportunities to create money internally. But we have to be smart. We have to make sacrifices. We have to make savings, but also invest in critical sectors like agriculture, the marine, in using public-private partnerships. There is enough private capital out there. Just looking for the right country with the right regulatory frameworks, the right economy for them to invest in it. So this is our focus in terms of money creation.
Okay, operations. To diversify the economy and growth, I believe one of the bad elements that one needs to get rid of is corruption. My question is, what mechanism will Citizen Alliance put in place to ensure that corruption is completely trimmed in this country? Thank you.
The biggest impediments to our national development today. We have 4 levels that we are looking at to fight corruption. One is institutional reforms. What institutions do we create, the new ones, or enhance existing ones to ensure transparency and accountability? Gambia lacks strong, efficient, empowered institutions, or what they call corruption watchdogs, to ensure not even the president is spared. Today we've had series of corruption-related cases that are not investigated because of the people who are involved in it. So one is to build the right institutions, an anti-corruption commission empowered, well-staffed, and given full powers to investigate corruption-related issues. But also have what they call the separate the Attorney General from the Minister of Justice, because you cannot be advising government, you cannot be the Minister of Justice, yet supposed to hold government accountable into that sector. Apart from at the institutional level, we are also going to ensure we motivate staff. Why petty corruption takes place is because staff are not motivated, their salaries are poor. And we have a very highly cash-based society. Shifting away from a cash-based society to a more digital platforms where transactions, especially money transactions, are based digitally. For example, if I want to release my container from the ports, I don't need to go with a bag of money to customs or to ports. I can go online, do all the transactions, click a link, takes me to the payment portal, I make the payment, I have my reference number, and go and clear my container. But because we live in a cash-based society, where there are incentives for people to play around with money, that leads to corruption. So you need to digitize the systems. You need to ensure that we train our civil servants, especially at the basic level, to make a difference between what is public money and what is private money. And today that is not happening today. People in the civil service have this cultural belief that no, we need to change that. We need to change that mentality. We need to do what they call lifestyle audits. A customs officer with a salary of $10,000 or 15 cannot buy certain type of vehicles or build certain type of homes. So when we see that, we have to ensure that we do a lifestyle audit. You have to explain to us where you got that money from. So training is key, but also punitive measures. We cannot allow impunity anymore. People go scot-free when caught with corruption. So we need to make sure there are stringent legislative measures that anybody who's caught stealing public money, then you are punished with the direct punishment. These are the 4 levels. 1, institutional reforms to ensure we have strong institutions, resilient institutions that can ensure accountability and transparency, but also have a strong anti-corruption watchdog that holds people accountable. 2, training, changing the mindset, the culture. I've heard people say Gambia needs system change. Yes, we need system change, but it has to go with mindset change. If you change the system and the mindsets are not changed, it's worthless. We need both system change, but also mindset change, so people who work in the civil service know they are civil servants, but they also must be motivated and given incentives. That is why we are saying we are going to build 100,000 homes for such kind of people to incentivize them so they can stay in the civil service and serve without being corrupt. But at the same time also, punitive measures, that nobody is a sacred cow, even the president. Where there are suspicion that the president has engaged in corrupt practices, he or she must face the law. So these are our 4 areas in terms of how we want to fight corruption.
Statement before we get into the question and answer. I thought I wanted them to listen to the question and answer before they give a statement generally, but I received a superior argument, which I thought is better for them to give their statements. Then people can also draw from that to better construct or ask their questions. So we will do that now, and then we'll continue with the question and answer. So I will please call on Mr. Malmo. Sambu, can you join us over there? Please, Mr. William Jai. And of course, Mr. Nyan Jai. Please put your hands together for them. I think doctor would prefer to move around, right?
Just point of correction, I'm not an expert. I'm a generalist, and these guys are experts. So, and the area I'm going to focus on is really going to be something to do about my background, which is in the business environment. Because I believe good governance and business go hand in hand, although we typically try to treat them independently. If you look at even our NDP, the way it's structured, there is no harmonization between creating a conducive business environment and good governance. So I'm going to probably not touch all 10 points, but I'll make an attempt to make a point that a conducive business environment will help will help develop the private sector. And by doing that, you'll be able to achieve some of these 10 points. Because I too follow social media every so often. And when the initial 10 points were released, there were some cynical people out there saying this is not going to happen, it's never going to happen. So I'm going to start with item number 1, which is the economy. And something that's important that's in there is the word diversify. If you look at the way our economy, it's been pretty much the same. We've been doing tourism the same way. Leisure tourism is what we've been focused on as a country for a long time. It's now to try to really diversify just that particular product, expand that product to something else. You want me to stand on it now? All right, so let's just take tourism, for instance, okay? Acronym MICE, meetings, I believe incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. It's a $1.2 trillion business worldwide. Why can't the Gambia tap into it? We have our tourism sector only operates within 6 months, if that much. Why can't we expand that and bring businesses over here to come do their conferences over here? Bring art exhibitors to bring their artwork here. We now have an infrastructure here the International Conference Center. So it is definitely doable to diversify our economy. Okay, that's just one item. Agro processing, we're still doing farming, but what do we do after that? Are we processing it? Yes, we've started the journey, but we are way behind in trying to make sure that some of what we grow here can be processed. We're still importing tomato paste. We have fertile ground. Why can't we, okay, grow more tomatoes and make tomato paste? We don't need to be importing these things. So manufacturing, like light, we can start with light manufacturing to be able to diversify. These are just examples. I'm not coming up with solutions, by the way. Like I said, I'm not an expert, just making recommendations on some things. And to prove that some of these, everything here is really doable if we just focus and apply the right approaches. So something else that's here that's very important, really, that's really drains our resources as a country, is our civil service, okay? We need to assess, okay? I'm not a big fan of just coming there and saying, there's a problem, let's just break it apart and fix it. We need to assess our civil service, okay? We need to make sure we right-size it, meaning we need to make sure that we have the right people in the right jobs, not have one person performing within a department, but then you're paying for 20 people. If it takes 4 people to perform the work, keep 4. The rest of them, you can retrain them, and I believe Dr. touched on this, you can retrain them and move them somewhere else. And there are areas that we need to tap in this country that we haven't. And let's take, for instance, how much of ICT do we do? Not much. He mentioned eGov, like you pay online and all that stuff. So the civil service that we need to retool we can train them to be the ones to help us turn our government into eGov. Okay, so again, these are approaches that could be looked at to see whether it will work. Our state-owned enterprises, some are doing a lot, very well. They're making money. Okay, but we need to get the government away from competing with its citizens, with the private sector. It makes no sense to be doing this. We need to gradually figure out how to make sure we enter into public-private partnership with Gambian businesses who can gradually assign these loans, the role of running these state-owned enterprises. Of course, the government should always have a seat at the table,